Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. One of the more fascinating storylines for this Florida Gators program heading into 2024 is how do you use five-star quarterback DJ Lagway in the 2024 season where heading into 2024, I don't think there's any question marks about who's going to be quarterback one. Dill, we've been very vocal. We think Graham Mertz, one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. But on kind of the flip side, you look at DJ Lagway and it's hard to argue against that he's a guy that can help Florida win in the 2024 season. Want to get into a couple of different conversations that have been highly contested on Florida Gator message boards, and that is how much do you use DJ Lagway? But I think more importantly, how do you use DJ Lagway in this 2024 season? Really excited to get into this conversation. Before we do, and as always, one to the Florida Gator fans, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. There are a lot of different opinions and takes that we see on the Florida Gator message boards. Would love to hear how you guys are feeling in the comment section. No really right answer to this, just a lot of different opinions. We'll see how it plays out. So would love to hear from you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And Dill, without further ado, I'll give you the T-box. We've seen these kind of situations in the past. In fact, as Michigan fans, we're pretty familiar with this kind of situation with Cade McNamara and JJ McCarthy in the 2021 season. I'll give you the T-box here. Let's start with how much do we think DJ Lagway gets used in the 2024 season?
And that question's always kind of interesting because you've seen that balancing act, as you kind of said. You've seen it work, like Chris Leak and Tim Tebow, obviously. They won a national championship in Florida. Michigan with J.J. McCarthy and Cade McNamara, a very successful season. And then you've seen some situations like, let's say, Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams, where it just clearly didn't work. And you could even go to Notre Dame, Malik Zaire and Deshaun Kaiser. So I think to me, the key is to try to find a way to balance the skill sets, not necessarily just try to work two quarterbacks in. So if you can use DJ Lagway as more of a complement to Graham Mertz, I think that allows you to be much more successful than just trying to essentially run a two-quarterback system with both guys doing the exact same.
100% agree with that. If you all have listened to the boys for the last couple of years, the two-quarterback system, at least in my opinion, it is very rare to see the two-quarterback system work when it's not implemented the right way, where you're just kind of purely splitting time. I think what's fascinating about this conversation is DJ Lagway adds elements to this Florida Gators offense that Graham Mertz doesn't have. And so it makes it a little bit easier to incorporate DJ Lagway into this offense. And I would probably envision it kind of similar to how JJ and Cade were balanced in that 2021 season, where Cade McNamara was the quarterback one. He started the games, played most of the snaps, but Michigan would routinely throw in JJ McCarthy as a kind of quarterback that if you're a defensive coordinator, you have to spend some of your time during the week preparing for what your defense is going to do when JJ McCarthy's on the football field. It's a very similar situation, right? When you put DJ Lagway into the game, if you're Florida, you're putting a lot of stress on the opposing defense because there are things that you have to account for with DJ Lagway that, quite frankly, you don't have to account for with Graham Mertz, primarily athleticism. But I think the conversation that a lot of people, not Florida fans, but national media fans, are just treating DJ Lagway like you're going to bring him in and just run the football with him. Dill, I think that's the wrong way to do it. Like, DJ Lagway has a very good arm. He 73% completion percentage his senior year. He's also extremely accurate. I wouldn't treat DJ Lagway just as a wildcat quarterback in the 2024 season.
No, and you want to use his legs as a weapon when he comes in. I think that should be part of the package essentially you're using. But I think you're right to say that he isn't just coming in to be a wildcat quarterback where the throw is a gimmick. I mean, it's coming in to be able to put teams in conflict off of the RPO or some sort of run fake or threat that DJ Lagway can offer, but also the fact that he can very clearly spin it at an extremely high level. You got to use that fact too. And I think, again, you've seen teams just throw in a running quarterback, and that's okay. But I do think that can add – or DJ Lagway's ability to throw it and run it at a really, really high level both ways, I think can add just kind of what you said, that ability to test defenses and make them prepare for something they really won't see.
And I think the conversation next to get into is, all right, I think we're all in agreement. I think most of the Florida fans, and if you're not, I would love to hear it in the comments section. I think we're all in agreement that DJ Lagway is going to play in 2024, right? Now I think the question is, not as much how much. I'm a little less concerned with how much he plays, and more importantly, how does Florida decide to use DJ Lagway? And I think what's so fascinating is you go back to the spring game, we're going to pull up a couple of reps and say there are certain packages that you can use DJ Lagway. And this is kind of how I envision it, where what's kind of keeps freshman quarterbacks off the field year one, it's just the understanding of the playbook. And so what you could do if you're Billy Napier, the Florida Gators, hey, shorten the playbook for DJ Lagway. Say, hey, we're not going to make you responsible to run 100% of the offense. We're going to give you a couple looks, a couple packages that you can really develop a strong understanding of in practice. And then we're going to throw you out there, and the plays that you're running, you have full confidence that you know what you're looking at and you know what your reads are. I think the first thing you want to talk about, Dill, is how DJ Lagway can impact the run game, not only running the football himself, which we all know he can do, ran for over 950 yards during his senior year of high school, but when you have a quarterback that is a legitimate threat to be dangerous with his legs that, quite frankly, just Graham Mertz isn't, it impacts how your defense is fit and runs. You take a look at this play in the spring game, Dill, it's going to be handoff to Jaden Baugh. We've looked at this play for Jaden Baugh, dog running back, think he's going to have a great year. But you start running this play and you kind of freeze frame it here with this essentially what is a read option. Dill, you look at this edge defender. He can't crash down. I mean, if that's Graham Mertz in the back, that edge rusher is crashing down on the running back because we're not afraid of Graham Mertz keeping the ball because he's not a threat with his run, with his legs. You look at this off-ball linebacker. He's also reading DJ Lagway. You look at this safety coming in to fit the run. He's also looking at DJ Lagway. So you roll this play and say, look how much space this linebacker gets lost in the wash. This safety's coming down, not really looking at the running back. Look how much space is created for Jaden Baugh to get going in the run game. And so that's one of the things that DJ Lagway gives, is not necessarily himself keeping the football, but making an opposing defense respect what he can do running with the football. It's going to create a lot of space for your running backs in this run game as well.
And I think that kind of gets important, especially on the heels of the Montrell Johnson injury. And as you try to work him back, I do think he's a guy who can come up and chew some of those rushing attacks or chew some of those runs up, ball carries, whatever you want to call it, chew that up a little bit and allow them to kind of deal with that injury at the end of the day, because obviously you got big games kind of early in that schedule led by Miami. And I think if you can come in and give DJ Lagway maybe 10 to 15 plays, and then that might be too high. I don't know exactly. I'd have to shake it out. But I think he's a guy who can come in and, again, kind of do what you said and give them a rushing threat, give them a better rushing attack to kind of spell what they're
We talk about replacing all that rushing production, specifically week one against the Miami Hurricanes, right? You're not only replacing Montrell Johnson Jr., but you're also replacing Trevor Etienne. I mean, that's a lot of rushing production that Florida's going to have to replace. I think DJ Lagway is certainly an option to look to replace some of that running production. Now, again, I think the biggest fallacy and the biggest thing a lot of the national media analysts are missing with DJ Lagway is they think that he's only a runner. I mean, there was a reason this kid was the number 3 prospect in the entire country coming out of the 2024 class. He can spin it. He threw for over 4,000 yards, a 73% completion percentage during his senior year of high school. Dill, this throw, just to kind of highlight what DJ Lagway can do. And again, another fallacy is he only has that fastball. We know he has a fastball. He can really rip it in there. Dill, DJ Lagway, especially in the spring game, showed that he can make some high-level throws with some touch as well. And you look at this run, there's, quite frankly, just not many quarterbacks in the country that can make this kind of throw where you're going opposite hash to the boundary. You have to layer it over a defender. This ball doesn't get better. I mean, you talk about DJ Lagway and the talent and the talent in the arm. I mean, stepping up, a muddy pocket too, standing tall in the pocket and delivering just a ridiculous dime to the opposite boundary. This idea that DJ Lagway cannot give you production through the air is completely wrong. Very talented arm. And I think the last thing you might be looking for with DJ Lagway is in the red zone. Again, Tim Tebow kind of specialized that during his freshman year. When you get into the red zone, it's really hard to manufacture space, especially in the passing attack. You can bring in DJ Lagway and you kind of roll this clip right here, another RPO here where you're getting all these linebackers sucking up. Because, again, we got to respect what DJ Lagway can do with his legs. And DJ Lagway, this is one of those packages that you can tell DJ Lagway, we got to have you master, right? If you see these zone defenders really suck up, hey, you're keeping the ball, a lot of space gets created, and you're just delivering a strike. This is type of stuff that you can use DJ Lagway with because it's not too complicated, right? We're not going to ask him to run the whole entire offense for this Florida Gators program. We're going to give him specific looks and packages and plays to really master during his freshman year, and that's what we're going to use him for Saturdays in the fall.
In his ability to actually play quarterback, unlike some of those other situations you'll see where it is pure wildcat and it's all gimmick, it allows, I think, him to, again, be successful. And it's not just bringing it in for a change of pace and it feels like kind of wasted downs. I do feel like a lot of teams do that at the end of the day where, okay, we have this athletic guy. We don't know exactly what to do with them. We'll stick him in at quarterback and let him run a wildcat situation. Like, I don't know. Does that really ever work? At the end of the day, you need a guy who can do both, who can, again, create those conflicts for defenders. And you just can't do that when you can't throw the ball at a really high level. So I do think that his ability to actually just be a straight up really, really good quarterback will or should allow him to be more successful in some of those like very specifically designed packages because he can just do more. And
I think the worst thing to do with DJ Lagway as a freshman is just treat him like a wildcat quarterback. Because, again, if you consistently do that, you're going to bring him in. You're going to see 7-8 man boxes. You're just not going to have that much success running the football. If DJ Lagway turns this offense into a one-dimensional offense when he's on the football field, going to be really hard.
Because I know we were hyping on Michigan for how they did it with J.J. McCarthy and Cade. You saw last year they tried to do the same thing with Alex Orji and J.J. And it, again, they never threw Alex Orji. So it's like, oh, Alex Orji's in the game. They're going to run the ball. It was never wildly successful. And they hit some decent plays off of it, but it wasn't something they could really go to and depend on at a really high level. I think if you can come in what J.J. McCarthy was doing, where he was throwing the ball, he was playing quarterback, but he was working in some of using his legs in the rushing attack too, just to add additional wrinkles into the plays, I think that was far more successful. And I think DJ Lagway has
what I think really hurt Alex Orji's kind of wildcat package is they didn't throw the football once with him. And I think you saw some success early on in the season once defenses knew when Alex Orji's in where you don't need to worry about them pushing the ball down the field. Then you started to see the 7-8 man boxes. And again, it's really hard to run the football when you are one-dimensional, when the defense essentially knows what you're going to do on the offensive side of the ball. DJ Lagway, again, you got to let him throw the ball down the field. We know he can do it. There's a difference between him and Alex Orji. We know DJ Lagway, a much more polished and proven passer of the football. That's kind of how I envision it. But again, if I were to kind of sum it up, one, college football is a simple game. Get your best players on the football field. DJ Lagway is one of your best football players. He's one of your best weapons on offense. You got to let him impact the football game. But I think more importantly, you got to be intentional. Like, give him a couple of different looks that he's going to master and be very comfortable with, and then go let him run it Saturdays in the fall. It's not only going to impact this offense, but also when you're defense and you have to think about the different ways that DJ Lagway can hurt you on the offensive side of the football. It gets a lot easier to manufacture some of those explosive plays. I'm really excited. Again, it's going to be hard to balance because Graham Mertz is a quarterback that you don't want to take off the football field that consistently. That being said, you want to get DJ Lagway touches because you know he can help this offense. We'll cut it there. Again, would love to hear from you guys in the comments section. A lot of different ways that you could view this situation. And I think it's going to be really important for Billy Napier in his job in 2025 to manage this quarterback room the right way. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.